Station, everybody. Welcome to Supreme Clientele. We're on episode 29. I cannot believe it, almost to 30. Here on February 13th, 2024, kind of post Super Bowl weekend. Just starting it off with one good thing from my past week was the game, man. A great game. We went to OT. We had a great halftime performance, in my humble opinion, from Usher. Me and my wife lost our shit when we saw Luda come out. Alicia Keys was, good Lord, have mercy. I don't know. That's definitely my highlight from the past week. It was everything you could want from a game. We closed early at work. Like, we were firing on all cylinders and pistons this week, bro. How about you? What was your highlight from the past week?
I guess I'll right off that one. I'd say I'll one up you and say not only was it a good game, great halftime performance. I mean, my man's Usher is closer to 50 than he is 40, and he's still killing it. That's crazy,
bro.
Topic for another conversation probably, but I kind of feel like I know there's performance, bro, but I felt he was a little too hands-on with Alicia Keys. She's a married woman, bro.
I'm saying we got super handsy, and that's don't let your wife go to an Usher concert, because if he brings her up on stage, that man is straight up he's ended marriages on stage before. So I think he brought Kiki Palmer up on stage, and after that her relationship kind of deteriorated, like the boyfriend couldn't handle it, or the whoever. Yeah, so yeah, man, definitely super handsy. But yeah, seeing him do my boo with Alicia, it was at the same time like so peak for me. Yeah,
it's hard to believe it's been 20 years since that song came out. Like, oh my gosh, shit. I mean, obviously as years go on, it feels we're getting older, because we are, but it's just crazy. Some shit doesn't seem like it was so long ago, like 20 years. But oh yeah, one good thing I will say, the Chiefs won, Brother Joe.
Yeah, shout out Brother Joe, shout out Bobby, shout out Marcus Circumstances, all our other Chiefs fans. Yeah, they lucked into it again. Like they always all the shucks their way to a trophy. But yeah, I don't know. It looked like the dynasty was in threat there for a minute, but they came.
Yeah, I kind of tuned out a little early. I won't hold you up, because I was like, oh, it kind of looks like San Francisco has this, bro. And it's like it was almost like a Lions game, bro, where it's like they had a good lead and it just went to shit after a certain point. Like, I mean, well, not it went to shit. It went to shit for them. But yeah, I guess you can just say the Chiefs worked that much harder for it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, despite the score, even though it was like a 10-3 game early, it felt like definitely like a 49ers ball game, but they found a way. And yeah. It definitely felt like the Chiefs were feeling that pressure on the sideline with Kelsey like chest bumping Andy Reid and getting fired up and almost knocking his head coach over. But they found a way yet again. So here we are. So congrats to a true dynasty. Yeah, and all you Chiefs fans. An incredible Super Bowl.
Go Chiefs.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, piggybacking off of your piggyback with the Super Bowl, I think we got to talk about, the biggest, I guess the biggest thing in the comic book world to come out of it, which was the Deadpool trailer. So, I got it. We're going to play it. I guess we can just pause as we move through it and kind of talk about it. And then I got a couple slides but I thought you brought up some great points and, interesting things on Instagram that I wanted to get to. So hold on 1 second. Let me get that out up.
All right. Okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure. But I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson? Who's asking? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
All right, let's stop right there. First of all, we got all our favorite side characters back. So based off of the mid-credit scene in Deadpool 2, I guess he's gone back in time, and and been able to, you know, bring his girlfriend back, and some of these other people who we thought were lost are back. You know, we got, of course, Colossus, Negasonic, but also some of those X-Force folks that we thought he lost in the last movie. So this is.
I was shocked to see Shatterstar back because I know Deadpool saved people at the end of the mid-credit scene in Deadpool 2, but it was like they only showed his wife and the dude with the mustache, Greg Bear, whatever they call him.
Yeah.
But you know, Shatterstar, I was under illusion was still dead, but I was gonna say maybe they brought Shatterstar back because he was like one of the only affordable X-Force members.
Right.
You know,
I keep thinking that with played
yeah, that's got to be the most affordable one, so that's why he's popping back up. But no, speaking of that, you don't see much of it, but Colossus looks a lot, even though he looked badass in Deadpool 1 and 2 compared to Last Stand and Days of Future Past. I will say he looks. I'm always gonna love how he looked in the X-Men 2. For that brief second we got of him in X-Men 2, I thought that's like the best live action Colossus we've ever gotten. And it was an improvement. It was an improvement on Deadpool 1 and 2. Seems like he looks a little bit more like the X2 version of Colossus, and more bulkier, but just more organic, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I don't know. I think he looks badass though from the first clip.
Yeah, hell yeah. Real quick, let me get to I forgot to get to the chat before we get started. So first and foremost, Gord, I know you're asleep right now, but if you're catching this on Rewind, we love you. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you for all the support every day on IG and YouTube. Yeah, hope you're doing well over there across the pond. My brother Fable in the house, Station Bro. What else we got? Talk in the house, Station Brother, Big Herm, Station Herm. Thank y'all for making the time to come through, even if it's just for a few minutes. Manny, love you, bro. Station. What else we got? My brother Chris, who we're gonna have on the show next month. I can't wait. Chris, keep killing them out there, bro. Keep killing them, and you are killing them, my man. Love Chris. Y'all check out Lost in Comics. Great content, week to week, month to month. What else we got? My boy Sal, what up, bro? Station Brother. All right. I think I covered just about everybody. Let me get to the clever comments. Kelsey getting handsy with Reed. Yep, absolutely. But hey, we got the trophy. I don't think we saw Domino, right? No Domino. I don't think I need to rewind it, but yeah. Oh yeah, Nick popped through. Nick, what up? Station Brother. All right, thank all y'all for coming out. All right, let's continue. Yeah. So anyway, TVA picks him up. Interesting to see how did you feel about the TVA showing up? In general.
I mean, it didn't bother me. Like it felt like the most organic connection they're gonna have with Deadpool coming, even because they've been said that Ryan Reynolds is the same Deadpool from the Fox X-Men coming into our universe. So, or the 616 or the MCU. 616 is not MCU. Even though they want to try to call it that.
Yeah,
no,
shout out to Montalani. Yeah.
I think that's I think that's a good way of progress because the TVA was such a big thing in the Loki show. I was kind of, it's like when something of importance happens and they just kind of sweep it under the rug or don't address it, a la Eternals, the Celestial sitting in the fucking middle of the ocean. It kind of bothers me, you know. It makes it feel like it wasn't important, or it's like they fucked up and they're not acknowledging it. So it's like it's left. There's a lot of stuff left unsaid. And with the TVA, I felt like there was more. Like they were just setting up the TVA with the Loki stuff. You know, you can't just Loki saved the day and now the TVA is back to normal. I'm glad they're continuing. Like we're seeing, like the TVA is trying to. There's more still going on. They got to pick stuff back up. I like to see. I'm glad that they're included in here.
I think it's a great like thread to weave through all your kind of or whatever you're doing in this phase of the MCU. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to like keep everything grounded. But yeah, and I also love the fourth wall break with the pegging joke, and I love that like we put that out here early and clearly stated that like this is all right. You don't need to worry about the Disney shit. Like we're gonna give you what you want for a Deadpool movie. Like I just loved how they did that. That was so well done. Even for a trailer, man. I feel like this trailer did everything a trailer needs to do. Like it's got the hidden Easter eggs, it's got the upfront stuff. We never saw Hugh Jackman. I feel like this is a success in
Right.
a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We vaguely know we have an idea of what the story is, but we don't know the entire plot, which a lot of trailers tend to do these days, is tell the entire plot in a movie. So yeah, I think they knocked it out the park with this trailer. It's like,
and for all the like the
just
photo
enough.
dumps we've been getting from the set, it's like, yeah, it's like you said, just enough. Like, you know, put the donkey or put the carrot in front of the donkey. You know what I mean? Like it's just enough. Anyway, yeah.
Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are
Another great joke. I love that joke right there. I love it. It's so quick. It's such a quick little Ryan Reynolds joke, but like that's one of those ones you can really appreciate on rewatch. You know what I mean? Like I just love it.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you guys?
Yeah.
Like he just brushes past it. Like,
right? It's so good. And immediate brownie points for me for Matthew McFadden showing up. I love Succession. So like seeing this guy show up and the MCU is already a plus.
Oh.
Yeah,
is he the brother, the second, or the brother in Succession? The second.
He's a brother-in-law. He marries the daughter of Brian Cox. The
and he was kind of
solo daughter. And he was until he wasn't. Okay. And like the last season, he has a great arc. And I don't want to ruin it for those that haven't seen it, but he's amazing in that. Yeah. But yeah, come to find out, I'm watching it with my wife, and my wife's like, "Oh wait, he's Darcy in Pride and Prejudice," and apparently she's known him from that, the Keira Knightley version of that. Yeah, apparently, like he can also be a steamy dreamboat when he wants to be. So watch out for Matthew. Yeah, an undercover usher, as we would say. Anyway, yeah, continue.
Who are you? Why am I here?
Walk with me. Wait. You are special. This is your chance.
To be a hero among heroes. I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever.
All right, before we get too ahead of ourselves, there's a lot going on right there. Here, let me bring up the PowerPoint. Bear with me, folks. Oh, okay. So, first of all, I love the saluting Cap. Another just like it. It means nothing really, but it's just like I love his sense of humor, man. It's so great. And how he's always looked up to Cap, and that's kind of like been his, bright light in the darkness. But yeah, Marvel Jesus was like, so great.
Jesus.
Such great comedic timing, and I love that look on his face. But yeah, in these clips that we just saw, like you said, that's definitely Patch Wolverine, right? Madripoor's already been introduced in the MCU. Yeah, so excited for that. And dude, I think this is the big question. Like, who is the bald head? And I'm with you, man. It's gotta be, to me, it's gotta be Cassandra Nolan.
Those look like her ears. I've never seen the actress before this picture, but looking at the length of her ears and the backside of the head, even though I'm still reminded of Grant Morrison every time I see the shot of that back. It feels like that's Grant Morrison sitting in the chair with this.
Really
that like, he likes to wear the,
it's like the ghost of Grant.
But they like to
like the ghost of Grant, man.
Yeah.
It's like Grant Morrison was like an angry undead twin. That would be, you know what I mean? So, like, I wouldn't even be surprised if the chair spun around and it was Morrison and
that would be such a great cameo.
Showed up in the Beast Boy episode of like Titans, so like he's definitely not. Man loves a camera. Yeah. There was a Beast Boy. It was probably the best episode of the Titans where it basically adapted an old Animal Man comic, right? And it was fire. And they had Grant Morrison make this dope little guest appearance in it. But yeah, it was super cool. Titans like had its moments where it was just like I thought brilliant and like adapted the comics in a new and unique way, and then at the same time was a terrible, strung out WB type show. You know what I mean? I don't know. It oscillated between those two like extremes for me, where I thought it was like it could have found like a nice medium or center, but it I don't know. It always wanted to, at its heart, I feel like it wanted to be a WB show when it really shouldn't have been. Anyway, way off track. Oh yeah, okay. So I guess those two, yeah, but I'd love to see Cassandra Nova. Would you not? And not and just in a short-lived like we're gonna kill her off in one movie type a role.
I know it's like I know it's getting convoluted because Cassandra Nova is. I know she was like retconned to be a psychic parasite, the Mamudri, or whatever they're called, and I believe it was Mike Carey's X-Men run. Like so essentially it was like a psychic parasite that kind of like some Shadow King shit that found Charles Xavier in the womb and latched on and was like developing out. So technically she's not his twin sister. So it was with some weird shit. But I don't know. Like you said, I wouldn't want her to see just a short cameo. I'd like to see her kind of be the villain of this movie. And if she was like a psychic entity, maybe she's like a threat to like she's trying to traverse timelines or some shit like that. And that's why Deadpool's brought in with the TVA to stop her. You know, it's almost like Logan. Logan was the last person with Professor X. He was the only one to really be able to withstand Charles' attacks. And this is like the anti of that. Like instead of Logan, we got Wade, who is very similar.
Yeah, there you go, bro. Very nice breakdown. Let's get to the chat real quick. We got a couple good comments. Said, yeah, Eric, I'm surprised they didn't show Herm said, I'm surprised they didn't show Harley Quinn decking Deadpool's girlfriend in this trailer. Hold on, I gotta see what he said. I can't find it. Okay, well. Oh, there we go. They showed a surprising amount of restraint in this trailer considering how many weeks we've gotten. That's very true. With like the amount of set photos that have just dropped from that and how it seems to be like a daily thing. This seemed like a very conservative trailer and like a very, you know, we know what we're doing with each frame type of
intentional.
Yeah, exactly.
Very intentional.
He said Sandra Nova could legit be the big bet. Yeah, absolutely, man. She's a force of nature, dude. And she dismantles. Let's not forget how she completely dismantled the X-Men. Like that scene with Beast and, you know, what's his name? Homeboy beating him with the bat and
Beak.
Yeah, Beak and just how like that scene with Trask on the island, the scene on Genosha with the wild Sentinels.
Yeah. Or I was gonna say it was right after the Wild Sentinel scene when Logan and Scott found her and brought her back.
Yeah.
But she took over Charlie's mind at that point. Like you gotta think about it. She like ran through Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean, Beast like it wasn't shit, and then took over Professor X's mind like it wasn't shit. Yeah. So he's right. She could definitely be a force to be reckoned with, man. Hopefully,
yeah, and then got up to the Shi'ar ship and like caused destruction and havoc on a galactic level. Like they had to keep even like, you know, Charles's like battered fetal shell, like, you know, encaged and like with safeguards and stuff to make sure that she didn't like somehow like hijack that and get out. But yeah, it was awesome, dude. I loved how quickly that moved, how well paced that was with the Morrison arc, but that's a conversation for another day with new X-Men. But yeah, all right. I think let's get back. Let me get back to the trailer. Sorry, guys.
I'm the Messiah.
I know those were going on, and I didn't want to miss the patch and the Cassandra Nova shout out. So here we go.
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus. this part. Wait! Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so hell yeah. I don't know. So that Secret Wars comic dealio definitely escaped my attention. I don't know about you. That was something I had to catch on the rewatch. I don't know. How about you?
I did peep it on any I just because I'm probably trained myself to look for this shit though. It's like because it's like, you know, I'm like, oh, is that a comic book? And I'm like looking at the font. It looks like Secret Wars. I wasn't entirely sure which issue it was at first until later, but I did know it was a Secret Wars comic. And you know, speaking of that one, I find that it's make me think that maybe they are just heading straight for Avengers Secret Wars, like the whole Kang movie they had planned, King Dynasty, is kaput, and they're just going straight to Secret Wars. The movie playing with time and TVA and him coming from a different universe would definitely lead into that. We've already had the incursions mentioned at the end of Multiverse of Madness, so we know that's on the rise. And but that issue in particular, the only significant thing I found, yes, it gives you a brief synopsis of the Beyonders and the people who kind of started the whole incursion thing.
Right.
I guess they're beyond everything, you know. They are beyond death, Aeon, Galactus, everybody in the Marvel universe. These guys are like the gods of the Marvel universe, and they just play with matter and time and stuff, creation at their whim. Now, if this was where it's interesting, in Secret Wars, Doom was the hero, but the bad guy at the same time. Like, he was the guy to save time, essentially, at the end of it, and save what was left and put it into a mesh it together in Battle World. He found somehow, I haven't read it in a few years, but I think it was the Avengers. Somehow they discovered that Molecule Man, Owen Reese, was he was split throughout multiple. There's one Owen Reese through the multiverse.
Like, he's a failsafe throughout the multiverse to detonate basically, and to, you know, keep the balance,
destroy that universe
or whatever. And Doom, and he basically got Molecule Man to agree to kill like other versions of himself, and to in doing so lose a part of himself, but like in gain for the greater good or whatever. And then they like, I love how they like through Secret Wars 5 they had this, and he's like, and then we got tricky where they stopped killing the Molecule Man, but they instead entrapped him, and this basically like
to make a bomb,
huge like Molecule Man bomb that to take out the Beyonders and basically steal the power that Doom was able to grasp to create Secret Wars, Battle World, the whole nine. So yeah, I thought that was a super dope like vision right there by Issad Rebeeker of all like the Molecule Men kind of just like in this antimatter type bomb that they're all trying to escape from, but they can't. Yeah, and I love like the whole thing, like in Secret Wars, basically the guy just wanted a burger the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
he was just hungry, bro.
He just wanted a Whopper, man. Every time Doom shows up, he's like, "Yo, you got something for me to eat?" He's like, "Nah, I've been busy." Like, what?
This is very side note, but what fucks me up about that one scene of Secret Wars is when Miles just kind of pulls a cheeseburger out of his ass. It's like, yo, I've had this the entire time, man. Like, here, have it. And he's like, oh, sweet. It's like, where have you been keeping that cheeseburger, bro? In your costume. Like, it was wild, but
facts. But that cheeseburger like changes like the whole dynamic. Like, bro, once he gets fed, he's like a whole different person. You know, we've all been hangry before. Like, once he gets fed, he's
just like a Snickers thing.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. I'll say this: we're 0 for 3 on Doom. If we're doing Doom again, we gotta come correct. Now I know we got this little curious scene. Hold on, I'm trying to rewind back, people. Here we go. And everybody thinks this is Doom. This is not Doom, but this does look like maybe somebody who like Doom would have employed to watch one of his type, like his, I don't know, his time / reality manipulators out on the random precipice of something. I don't know, but at the same time, like I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I feel like there's plenty of good villains before Doom. But I don't know. It's very curious that we saw Secret Wars in the snow. I don't think that's without.
Yeah,
like we're talking about earlier. I don't think these there's a single frame in these trailers, knowing that people are going to break it down frame by frame, second by second. That isn't intentional. So, yeah,
I definitely think they're hinting at. I don't know. We haven't even heard of a Doom casting, so it's like if this movie. So let's be realistic. This was slated for like 2026 or something like that, if I remember correctly, maybe 25. Obviously, they're not gonna hit the 25 mark, not the 26. So it's like maybe 2027, 28.
Are you talking about?
I mean, maybe they could hit it, but yeah,
it's gonna be.
But it's like
I think a lot of
them to hint at it, and this
how well this does.
No, yeah. That's true. That is true. But I that's just it's a very big breadcrumb, especially when we know it's called Secret Wars. I think everyone kind of knew, even when they announced it, that between the two Secret Wars titles, they were going to go with the Hickmans as opposed to the OG saga. So I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to like we don't what. Okay, so based on what the movies they're releasing in the next couple of years, what could really seed their like? I don't see Thunderbolt seeding its way to a Secret Wars movie. I don't see what else is coming out.
I don't know, man. It's
Captain America. That could. But I feel like that. I feel like I don't want them to rush into Secret Wars. We haven't even set up Doom first. Lead into start off Secret Wars and Doom's just coming out for the first time. That's what I'm a little worried about.
No, I'm completely with you on that one. I think we need to pump the brakes and take our time. But hell yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm definitely excited for it as like the one I guess Hallmark Marvel has on his calendar this year. I think it's going to be good though. So yeah, middle of the summer it's going to be a banger. So I hope, dude, the way those Madam Web reviews are coming in already, it's like I hope we can I hope we can right. I hope we can sweep that under the carpet as quick as possible and move on. But yeah. Anyway, all right, getting into the new comics. Let's start with the biggest news or the biggest banger of the week. Ultimate Black Panther #1 by Bryan Hill Stefano Caselli. I love this. Yeah, first of all, with these covers, great Boss Logic variant there on the right. I love another classic Ultimate cover. I feel like you got a great one from Chiquetto with Ultimate Spider-Man #1, and I feel like this one is no different. A couple of variants. I know there's Travel Foreman on the right. I forget who that is on the left. Variants are okay, but we only have 3 for this. So, I don't know. Yeah, nothing too crazy, and I kind of like it that way. Issue opens up. We're in a part of West Africa, and it's this village that's basically under siege by these colonizing type troops who wear this moon sigil, right? And we have 2 of Wakanda's, I guess, spies up in the trees there. I kind of love how they show them out. Kind of starts with them close up, like one of the spies wants to take action, and the other one's stopping. He's holding his hand from having that happen, and it pans further back, and we get them kind of in the bushes, and it pans further back from that. And we see that there's basically like a genocide or a massacre going on in this village, and they have to stay in the trees and kind of watch it happen and report back to the king. But yeah, I thought a great intro for it. And then we kind of get, our introduction to T'Challa and his world. He's married to Okoye, who we all know as leader of the Dora Milaje and the regular 616 Marvel comic book universe. Yeah, and right away we can tell like heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Like he gets up, he gets into an argument with his father about going to seek advice from I think it's called the Voodoo Khan or whatever, this old priesthood and
Who's there's another difference. He's still alive in this. I'm not sure who
yes,
died in the
very good. Yeah,
616, but
very good point. Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, it's a big motivating factor, obviously, in MCU and Marvel Comics, T'Challa's father's death, but here he's still alive. He's offering advice. T'Challa's kind of against the basically like an old religious prophecy type cult who has its a high standing and a lot of sway in Wakandan culture. Obviously, T'Challa's against this. His father tells him, tell them their dreams, placate them, but also, you know, don't let them know that they're enemies of the king. Enemy of the king should never know that they're an enemy of the king until it's too late, until he's struck. So wise words from his father. He also goes to see the Voodoo Khan, and he kind of finds out that maybe they're not exactly what everything he thought. That they kind of want to be eyes in the kingdom more so than eyes on him. That they want to kind of look out for him, and he's okay with that. Yeah, moving forward, the two spies come back and they report back. I love this scene where they're like, T'Challa, we could have taken action. We can form a small faction, Dora Milaje, and go after these guys. And T'Challa's like, I take information from spies, but not strategy. You are dismissed. And I love that simple, statement. And, he's standing on like his kingdom. And I just like that assertiveness. But you also see the cracks in the kingdom. They walk away disgruntled. Shuri argues with him that, father would have done something. She would have gone after these guys. Okoye kind of has to step in and defend him to Shuri. He thinks Okoye after the fact, but she's like, don't thank me. You were right. If you weren't, I wouldn't have stepped up for you. But it does a good job at showing that there's factions of Wakanda. Dora Milaje, as we'll see in a minute, is, not, this is Ultimate Black Panther. They're not a small collection of women who are the King's Guard. This is a military faction now in Wakanda. This isn't some small collection of bodyguards. So they have a significant pull and a voice in Wakanda, more so than you would in the regular Black Panther universe, I guess. But yeah, here we have the conversation between Queen and King. But she's like, I don't envy you today. Your head is heavy, as I've previously quoted. So we go outside and hear Shuri talking with I forget her name. She's queen, or she's leader of the Dora Milaje or whatever, and she expresses her. What's her name? Is it a new character, bro? Okay.
I wasn't familiar with her.
She expresses her dissatisfaction in T'Challa's decision and his inaction or whatever, and she's like, "You want our name to be known all over the world, whatever." But I don't know. She also shows her staying at the same time. She if anybody enters in Wakanda, they'll know our name. So from there, we get another look at another village out in West Africa where these soldiers with the moon-shaped sigil are descending on again, right? And there's this kid who's out there playing soccer. They tell him to kneel. They're about to fire and execute him like firing squad style. Then all of a sudden, an Avenger shows up.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before, because they give a quick reveal on who this is, but before this reveal, did you think it was someone else?
No clue who it was.
I thought it was Shuri, just because she had taken such a stance against T'Challa. I was like, maybe she's got some buff armor or something, But it quickly was not revealed not to be Shuri. But I did kind of think it was someone else.
Yeah, no, like for as common as I guess Killmonger would be, guess like based off his MCU exposure and stuff like that, he was not in my frame of reference or like my immediate state of mind reading this. So like seeing him was a delight. Not only that, but like we'll get to it. So yeah, Killmonger shows up, puts a blade through all these guys, and he's like, "Yeah, we got your back." Then a ship shows up from overhead, I guess with these troops or whatever it came from, and they have him locked in with the gun. And then he says something like, "My love bless me," right? And then we get this great scene. We see lightning kind of strike from afar, and then right through the ship. And then he's got this horde of troops coming at him. He throws this axe, which then gets electrified on some like God of Thunder Asgardian shit, and it takes out all the troops. It comes back to him, like it boomerangs back to him, and he's like, people of this village, I know you've been forgotten by your king and everybody else on this continent, but me and the Storm Rider have got your back. And one of the, if not the best scene, one of the best scenes in the comics. This was so cool to see, bro. How did you feel about this?
Yeah, it was cool, and it's just as much as shocking. I was like, oh, right. Killmonger and Storm are an item in this universe, huh? It just made me start to like, is she not going to be a part of the X-Men? Is she going to be a villain in this universe? Like, just so many questions. But it was cool. It was there was a badass little combo they put on those. They threw down on those foot soldiers.
Oh yeah, bro.
It was dope.
Yeah, it really was. But yeah, that's I don't know, kind of the end of our. Oh no, it's not the end of our episode. So we shoot back to Wakanda. They're having a parade of festivities, kind of anniversary of the nation type deal. And then we get some terrorist bombers who claim, I think, for Ra and for Khonshu before they detonate. They end up killing T'Challa's father, which you can kind of see. You can kind of see here. I love the speed lines there, and like him, like the finger, kind of showing how the Black Panther costume was.
The nanites.
Exactly, coming over him. Anyway, yeah, they're up on this elevated platform. These guys are kind of suicide bombing their way with this terrorist act. The dad pushes T'Challa off before he himself is hit by the bomb, and his T'Challa's witnessing his burning corpse right there. And right then and there, he kind of declares war on Moon Knight and Khonshu and whoever these opposing forces are. Enough is enough. Yeah, bro, I got to take a quick break for 2 seconds, but just go ahead and give your overall thoughts on this joint real quick.
All right. I enjoyed this one. Of course, it wasn't up there. It wasn't as good as Spider-Man, but that's was right below there. I almost thought initially when I read this, I was like, did he just take elements from Peter Parker? So I was like, instead of Aunt May being dead, or instead of Aunt May being alive, it's Ben Parker, And then when this book starts off, T'Challa's mother is nowhere to be mentioned, and then we see his dad. So I thought that it was the same thing. Mom's was dead and Pops was alive. But by the end of this issue, we see, I don't know. I don't think they even mentioned his mom. If anybody read this in the chat, did they mention his mom at all throughout this? So maybe she'll pop up later on in the series. Or maybe T'Challa's completely parentless. Yeah. But this was a solid entry, a great first issue. Greatly paced. Art was badass, and it was just a great Ultimate comic. It's like very similar, but there's subtle changes that make you like, huh, I want to see how this plays out. To be honest, the most curious thing I am about the series right now is mostly his Power Rangers mask with the mouthpiece missing. I feel like that they could probably put something over that, like a metal plating, but I feel like that's a kind of a cool look. And the stuff with Storm, like, is she going to be a bad guy? Is she not going to be connected to the X-Men? I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe she's going to have like a altercation with Killmonger, realize that he was not doing things the right way, even though he had good intentions, and it makes her switch over to the X-Men or over to T'Challa's side. I just can't see her being a villain.
Damn, that would be dope if we had like an overarching arc where she was in Ultimate Black Panther and Ultimate X-Men, and kind of like a change of heart, or her character arc followed her through a number of different titles. That would be. Oh wait, Sal says Peach's X-Men has a different Storm, May Storm, I think. Okay, so
she's got electrical powers, but did they confirm she's got weather powers? Like I know the chick he's talking about, but I thought they just shown her with the electric powers, and maybe she was like a surge kind of. But if she does have storm powers, hopefully that's not like copy, rinse and repeat. Like they're done the same way. Like maybe there's a catch to the way her storm powers exhibit. May Storm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah. All right, let's get the chat real quick. We got James Phelps in the house. Phelps, what up, bro? Thanks for coming through, man. Oh yeah. Appreciate all the kind words you've had to say about the show. My boy Verno. Thank you, Vern. Great trailer breakdown. It was already built. You know what my boy is all about. It was about power. But yeah, we got to do him right, Shield. We know what he's about. But it's about the finesse, man. With Doom, it's the details. It's him telling Namor to unclench his fist. Like, it's the little petty things with Doom that make you love the character. All right. I want to get to a series I've really read, loved, enjoyed. We're 3 issues in, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Travis Horvath, written and drawn. Lettered by Hassan Otsmane Iwalu. I hope I'm saying that right. This book has been incredible, guys. My boy Chris, I don't know if you're still in the chat. Described it when I saw him when I watched his review show, Berenstain Bears Meets Dexter, and it's exactly that. Now, if you the first cover is right there on the left, and it looks like your typical children's book, except you see our character is dragging a bloody sack through the middle of it. So that should tell you everything you need to know about it. We've also got these great variant covers from Riley Rossmo, these kind of like storybook joints. Which you see throughout. There's one there on the left, and then another one there on the left. But yeah, Jason's Sean Alexander with a couple of variants right there on the left, and right here on the right. Like not a crazy amount of variant covers, but honestly, the cover A's have been good enough. But yeah, Lynk, did you get to read this one? You have any general thoughts on it? Did you enjoy it? Not enjoy it?
I did, yeah. I think that's a good description, Chris said. I didn't necessarily think of Berenstain Bears. I thought of Dexter and Black Sod, which is like a French noir kind of comic where it's about this detective, Black Sod. He's this panther, but it's like an
anthropomorphic or whatever. Yeah.
That's a tongue twister, but it's very similar to that. Animals in that world are walking upright. They drink, just everything you've seen in this book they're doing. But this one is that one's more like a crime book. This one was interesting. Like it kind of did remind me of like a fairy tale world, and then everything's happy and cheery, and then you get to the serial killing, and I'm like, oh shit. And then this was an interesting book. I didn't know what this was when I was going into it. So when I was reading the first couple pages, I was like, I kind of thought to myself, I was like, what the shit is this? Like, what is Stu having me read, bro? I'll still read it. But then then we get to the part where I didn't even realize the main character was a chick, to be honest, either.
No,
it was like an issue.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you on that, because I had to go back and reread like when I think her name. And I don't know.
They kept calling her Sam, and then someone called her Samantha.
Definitely, like when you look at, like, it definitely seems like a male bear as much as a female bear.
Yeah.
As those,
I couldn't tell the difference, anyways. But no, this was a cool book. Definitely, I enjoy the whole. It's a weird one because our main character is a serial killer with a code of morals, ethics, and stuff. But it's almost turned into like a detective book because so when she does her thing, she goes out of town. She doesn't shit where she eats. And so that way it can't be connected to her. There's not a lot of questions being asked because people go missing all the time in the city. So there's a crazy murder that happens in her hometown. And she's like, bro, you're going to bring heat to me, goddammit. She's like, I got to find out who's doing this and stop him so I can continue my thing uninhibited. And so she's slowly trying to like find out. She's like asking people questions about certain things, you know, doing a detective thing to try to narrow down who the suspect could have been.
Yep.
I was gonna try to explain the lavender thing. Like she keeps looking for people kind of sneezing because she's talking to, so the body was hung on like a float before a fair, and the person who was, I guess, owned the fair dock or whatever was there that night. And so she's asking him, he's like, yeah, the last person in here was such and such, but they sneezed. And then I thought I heard another sneeze. So she's like, you know,
Right.
going around town trying to see who's like allergic
She's on the
to
lookout
lavender.
for a lavender allergy. Yeah, that's like one of the few clues she has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
great summary, dude.
Yes. Oh, thank you. But no, this was a great book. I was pleased by the end of it because I won't hold you up. I read the first few pages. I was like, what is this? Some Looney Tune shit? Like, you know, it's a world. We got bears talking and shit. You know, I don't know, but I'm glad it turned out to be something else. It was worth the read.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you stay with it, bro. E said, Link, I didn't know you messed with Black Sad, dude. Oh,
Come on, E. Come on.
Oh yeah, who's Black Sad by? I gotta check that out.
I cannot pronounce their name, bro. But it's French. They of course translate it, but yeah.
All right, I'll check that out. Oh yeah. But yeah, all right. So starting off in our beautiful town of Woodbrook, like Link said, a place where you can deal with the day in your own time, floating on the scent of cedar, rosemary, and clover. Literally, the way the town is described, and you know, in these opening scenes, we just get everybody being happy and so nice to everybody, right?
And pleasant, yeah.
Yeah, so pleasant.
You got the old guy who keeps asking where the fuck his glasses are every 3 minutes to people and shit, and they're not even getting annoyed. They're just like,
no,
they're on your head, Frank. You know, whatever his name is. But
it's one of those towns. But yeah, so Samantha owns what, like a hardware type store? I feel like it was, right? And she, like you said, she goes out of town to do her killings, and one of her rules is, as will she, she's only got a couple of them. I keep it random, right? So she's got this random duck dude who's, you know, walking by. She's acting like she's got a, you know, broken down car. He's trying to help, gets in the trunk to try to see what tools she has, gets chloroformed, and then like the next thing you know, he's getting a nail, and she's real clean and efficient with it. It's not no torture shit. Like she said, I love this is like how precise. I love how precise the serial. Not to sound too sadistic here, but I love how precise the serial killing is in this book. It's like it's not about all of that. It's about control. I put a nail through the back of their neck or whatever. You know, the medulla, whatever it, you know, all control of their body or whatever is gone. They're done, and they're just mine. So like, I don't know. I can respect and appreciate that from somebody who's slightly obsessed with serial killers sometimes. But I love this overhead shot of our poor boy all dissected. And then she's putting him in paint cans and burying him, you know, throughout the woods. This was one of my favorite parts of the entire first 3 issues. Another bear walks up, right? And she's like, yo, I hope we can just keep this between us. I thought that was so great.
This had me it was a humor scene, but it had me wondering. I was like, are there animals in that world who are kind of just natural, you know? Which was interesting. I appreciate it. But yeah, that was a great line.
It was like, yeah.
Walks off.
You said, Stu, do we need to be concerned? They really need to get the murder right. Yeah, we should be concerned. Yes. To answer your question, absolutely. But yeah, all right. So moving on. The end of the first issue, it's float day. You know, whatever. Everybody's been working on these floats. The floats come out. The sheet comes down on one of these boat floats or whatever, and we got like a crucified sheep on the top of it, right? And so now, like, everybody's incensed. Like, we got a town hall meeting. The sheriff's got to calm down people. And this is like you said, like when it turns more from like a horror story about murders into an investigation, where Samantha, the you know, serial killer bear, is trying to figure out what other serial killer / killer she has in her town. I guess in the second issue, I love like the you know, there's the Sherry Jerkins scene where
Huge.
Sherry Jerkins is the pig who, like, a Miss Piggy type, I guess, is the best way you could describe her, who, like, doesn't want to wait in line for a latte, doesn't want to pre-order, whatever, thinks the world waits on her. You know, marches to the beat of her own drum, fuck what anybody has to say about it. You know, she's the only one going out walking at night. Yeah, she's a class A Karen bitch, dude. It's the best way to describe Sherry Jerkins. Goes out walking that night in defiance of, like, the whole town being shook and scared of the serial killer or whatever. She's like, she finally runs up on somebody. Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Oh, shit. He's got a blade. She runs from him. She tries to, like, say, hold up. He cuts her fingers off. She runs from him and she ends up, like, trying to. Bro. Yeah, it is. She tries to escape in the school. She ends up getting caught up too. And the next morning they find her head on a stick with head of the class written in blood behind it. And now, like, the town is in full-on fucking, like, desperation, panic mode. Like, the mailman, you see, there's a great shot in, I think, the beginning of the third comic with the mailman there on the left side, like, just kind of scared to deliver the mail and even walk through his town in the daylight. So, yeah, at this point, what's her name? Samantha is trying to build suspects, or a suspect list, and trying to figure out what's going on. She's got the lavender clue or whatever. So she thinks it might be the butcher. I forget the cat's name. You thought, yeah. Dude, they did a great job. We got several of these, like, butcher in the butcher shop cutting and dealing out meat, right, to, like, kind of, like, make you
emphasize
the insensitivity of, like, this character is already numb to cutting and butchering up things. You know what I mean? Right, so Samantha so one night she throws a brick through the front of the butcher shop. It sets off the alarm. The cat has to get out of bed, leave the house, and go check on the alarm. She uses that opportunity to sneak in the house and try to find clues about the murder. What she finds instead is that this cat has basically made a dead mannequin or whatever out there. A life-size, like, realistic mannequin of their partner that they sleep next to each night, just kind of, you know, keep them company and
the cat's kind of mute the cat's the husband passed away. They don't show it, but it's, you know, she says that, you know, she lost her husband fairly recently, and that's her way of, like, coping. Because, you know, when you see Sam creeping through a window at first, like, you just see her go into the room and talk to, like, this body that's laying in this bed, and it's like you're thinking, like, it's implied that she's got her husband's dead corpse in the body or in her bed that she sleeps next to. So when Sam finally breaks in here and she sees what's what, she's like, oh, it's just a doll. And
yeah, because it's like, isn't it like a hey babe, oh, my day was crazy type of thing? Like, isn't it
talks
like
to it?
Yeah, it's like that type of combo. So, like, this was really well done. And of course, like, the cat comes home, talks to, like, the dead inanimate object, and then hops in the shower. Sam thinks she's got, like, a clear out for trying to get out of there, but then the cat shows up with the gun. And the cat kind of breaks down, tells Sam what the deal is or whatever, and Sam apologizes. Anyway, the next day we're at Sherry Jerkins' funeral. Everything's normal as it should be. Everybody greeting everybody, and then we start getting sneezes, right? And Sam's like, what the fuck? Sam looks over. It's the son of her, like, lifelong best friend who supposedly came back from college because he couldn't, like, for whatever reason. I have brief memories of him in, I think, the second issue. But yeah, that's the son of her lifelong best friend. And I remember one of the questions he asked her when they were at the table eating dinner together. Oh, you two must know everything about each other. Huh. So I feel like maybe he knows something about Sam that she doesn't know he knows or something. But obviously, the fact that he's already greeting her gaze here, I feel like implies insidious things, and that this guy might not be the, you know, it's not going to be like the cat where it's the wrong suspect. I think there's something going on here. What did you think about this, bro?
I didn't peep that. I actually forgot. I'm glad you said it, because I was like, I didn't know who this character was. I forgot that he was the lady of the son that came back from college, or where he was off working and he came back to take care of the mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that you said that, it could be. because he's, you know, it's insinuated that hasn't been back too long. Like he's back very recently, and this shit all kind of started as soon as he comes back. But at the same time, they did such a good job of making me think the cat lady was the killer.
Yeah,
you know, this could be misdirection again. You know, is he holding lavender? Is that why did he like?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh no, it's a handkerchief. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. It could be him.
I just love
him.
like how his head's already greeted to like, or head's always already turned to her as like to greet her grace, like he knows like she's gonna be looking for him. I thought that was dope.
Like he felt. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he was like, he felt her eyes on him rather. But yeah, dude. So overall, I can't wait to see where we go from here. You know, for somebody who's writing and drawing their own comic, this has been fucking phenomenal. From IDW, no less.
Yeah.
Kind of like out of left field for sure.
Very shocked. Once in a while, IDW will come out with a banger of a series, bro. But very, very once in a while.
This is incredible.
Like probably
like shout out to whoever jumped on this pitch or this guy, because he's delivering. I can't wait to see what else he has in store for us. But yeah, y'all go check out Beneath the Trees. 1 through 3 are out now. All right, bro. Our other catch-up I thought we would do Kelly Thompson and Matthia D. Iulis, the Cull. We've already covered at least 2 issues of this previously on our on Supreme Clientele. So it wrapped up this week. I felt like it was only right that we see it through and kind of give our thoughts on it. To me, this was a lot of ups and downs. The art was gorgeous. The storyline was good initially, disjointed and kind of slapped together at the end. It felt like we were trying to cover way too many bases, and like, yeah, we could have gone longer. You didn't give me long enough. For one, they didn't give me long enough to really get invested and involved with these characters. I felt like they kind of took that for granted with me. Like that first issue, they gave you a couple panels or pages where you were supposed to be, you know, get way more involved and invested with these characters than, you know, it ended up feeling like was natural too. But at the same time, really cool concepts. The artwork was gorgeous throughout. I thought it had some high points and some low points, but I don't know. How'd you feel about it, bro? Overall,
I think you summed it up best, bro. Like it wasn't bad series, but like the art was the highlight. Art was outstanding. I'm rarely I don't want to say I'm disappointed, because I'm really disappointed by Kelly Thompson, especially over with her big 2 stuff. So I would think that her creator own stuff would be a little bit better. It seemed like she, like you said, she was trying to do a lot in a short amount of time. Like it seemed like we rushed through a lot of stuff. The concept I thought was cool. Like it's essentially, if you've seen the Alex Garland movie with Natalie Portman, Annihilation, it's that. Kind of meets Stranger Things, meets X-Men, meets, you know, like it's kind of like
that's a great 3-way, like, yeah, that's a great 3-way description though, bro. It really is.
So I like the idea of it, but like you said, like we were teased with, like, we got to know the characters. The first issue kind of established their personalities a little bit, but not enough for us to kind of go through the whole of the series and not really touch base with them again. It seemed to, like, you know, there's a lot of plot bullet points she was trying to hit by the end of this. You know, I don't know, the pacing for the series wasn't terrible. It was just off. I think it could be refined, and I like this. It was good enough for me to want to see how this story continues. Like the last page with them finding out they're on a different Earth, I was like, okay, this could have, you know, I'd like to see where this goes. But cool idea. It was worth it. I was just shocked, but it wasn't as tight. Not as she's like an excellent pacer, but I usually find Thompson's pacing to be a little bit more tight, refined.
Yes.
This one seemed to be, you know, kind of all over the place, but still a great idea.
And I wonder, I don't know. I know the artwork took a while. I wonder what like changes she made in service to getting the artwork or the deadlines met, because this was like such a long time coming. I feel like parts of it shouldn't have felt disjointed or rushed, or, you know what I mean? Just because she announced it on her Substack forever ago. Like even I think when shortly after Substack first became a thing. So it's like to finally be getting the 5th issue is like I don't know. It feels bittersweet. But yeah, just for those of you who haven't read this or caught up on it, spoiler alerts obviously, but it wrapped up. It's a 5-issue mini. It wrapped up this past week. It basically, we start off with a group of friends going to shoot a movie, and initially here on the coast at 4:30 in the morning, and they end up kind of finding that an entirely new, different world is kind of set up shop on this coast. They kind of go through this like this portal type deal, and they're in this other world, and they have to adjust to its surroundings. And it's basically like a hive mind type of world where everything that's new to it or fresh to it gets evaluated and processed, and it agrees like if it thinks it's going to be beneficial or of a positive outcome to the hive mind, then it gets to stay. If not, it gets cold, and that's where we get our series title. There's only one member of this group who's deemed initially, after they kind of start interacting with the environment, that's deemed not good enough to get called. And of course, like the rest of her friends stand up for her and protect her, and she has a huge part to play here at the end of the story. I kind of loved how I loved in this in the beginning how it turned it from, okay, we're making a movie, to, hey, this girl has lost her brother. These characters are going through a lot of emotional shit. But then it turned into like, okay, we're in this new world. Let's just have like sex and be free. And it just got, I don't know. Just from the beginning, it felt like it couldn't pick a direction it wanted to go in. And like, it felt like it was trying to manage too many different things at too many different times. And it would have been okay for 1 or 2 characters, I feel like. This is where it went wrong. Trying to spread it across like 4 or 5 different people and us remember like what was significant or essential or worth remembering about each person was just like too much of a tall order, I felt, for me. If it was like 1 or 2 friends who had went into this breach together, or like a relationship or type, I felt like it could have been a much more significant story. The fact that they tried to like spread this out over a group of friends, like Paper Girls, or you know what I mean? It just didn't feel like it just didn't work.
Even if they would have, I felt like, because some of the character, like the moments I guess we got for characterization weren't necessary, because I get what you mean. Like it should have been this lady right here, who's like I guess the main character, the one who lost her brother. It should have been like her, maybe her closest friend that we focus on. The other people are still there in the background, but we got so many moments of them going to their house that, the chick who has the laser eyes and what happened to her mom, that, we didn't spend enough time with her to care about that moment, so it was kind of inconsequential, and it could have been left out and focused more on the main character, like she was just trying to cover a lot. I don't know if she's trying to reach, it's like she got caught up in having fun with the characters, and it's like by a certain issue she realized like, oh shit, I gotta get some of this plot out, get the hook out, they're on a different world. But it seems like it was just rushed after a certain point. Like I want to say it was like around issue 3 that, after issue 3 she kind of jumped the gun. But it's still a cool series. Still a cool series.
But yeah, so they all get their powers except for one, and like when it tries to call the one, they turn against this creature that initially has given them basically their tour of this Cull world or whatever. And they protect their friend with these new powers. One has the ability, like one has wings, one has Cyclops eyes, one can like Professor Exit, and what's
flower shit.
Yeah, one's like poison ivy, more or less. But yeah, so they escape from this world by doing the Moses part of the Red Sea. They part the sea, then they let the water come back on these creatures. Then they get back into their own Earth, and they find that these creatures have invaded it. Like there's one of these things, these giant things resting, and there's silence. There's no human activity. So they eventually pick up. They get back to a house. They find a video camera, and they watch the tape and realize what's happened. That basically these creatures showed up and they released a bunch of pods and they called everybody, right? And we see one of them get like sucked. I thought this was one of the coolest pages in the whole series. Like one of them gets sucked up and into this like little pod, and there's nothing but like
Nope
little
style.
fairy. Yeah, exactly. Nothing but little fairy lights left over. But yeah, so like, oh shit. So this happened. All right. So we need to go find our family and our loved ones and see what happened to them. So they start off doing that. Homegirl, like one or two of them find members of their family still alive. I think it's Eva here finds that her mother has written a suicide note and walked to the beach. She finds out like her tea mug is still warm and that she might still be alive. She runs out to the beach, but just enough time to like see her sandals and the sparkle over her sandals, like she's just gotten called, and she loses her shit and she goes like, Phoenix Cyclops on this thing, right? And I think that's the end of issue 4, right? And into our last issue, she needs the help of her friends to kind of defeat this giant Cull creature, which they eventually do, even with pods and all. They kind of combine their minds in this cool kaiju moment and make this like kaiju thing.
Homesick pilots.
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool nonetheless, and the artwork was dope. Like my favorite part was this that was so fire right there with the kaiju and all 5 of their faces around it. That was some Power Ranger shit right there, man. Like I could not love that. So that took me back. That was fire. But like that's just a couple pages of the issue, and the rest of them is them running around looking for their families. They eventually find out like, oh, my brother's still alive, but we're on the wrong Earth. What? So that's the ending. We're kind of left with a cliffhanger. To me, it was, I don't know. These last 2 issues were, like we already said, we're a disjointed mess. It was on a solid enough path, but I felt like they could have cut down on the characters, cut down on the arcs, and really made this like a single relationship focused type of book, and made it that much more impactful or powerful. But at the same time, I'm not going to not read volume 2 if it comes out. But I couldn't tell you like 1 or 2 of these characters' names, dude. At the same, you know what I mean?
I think I could say one of their names, but I couldn't tell you who the name belonged to, like Lux or something. I know who the hell.
Yeah. Lux. Like, I think Lux was the one with the eyes, but it's like,
okay. Yep.
Yeah. What kind of story are you telling if I can't remember anybody's name?
Exactly.
What's that? I don't know. Like at the beginning of this, I was so hyped because like we've said before, I've seen this guy's artwork on Captain America. I think the Sentinel Liberty #0 or whatever. He wrote this great little one shot where Cap and Sam Wilson stop. What's his name? The robot face.
Zemo. Oh, Arnim Zola?
Zemo. Yeah, Arnim Zola from like, blowing up the moon or some shit. But like the way he does it it's so beautiful and gorgeous. And like he made a fan of me from then on. So when I saw he was doing this with Kelly Thompson, I was immediately on board. But honestly, it's been the story in this that's been dragging more so than the artwork, which I didn't think was going to happen, but that's where we're at. Anyway, I don't know. The Cull, maybe check it out, maybe don't. I don't know. Give it a couple issues and see how you think.
If you like stuff like Annihilation and Stranger Things and Power Rangers and X-Men, then it might be up your alley. It's got potential. It's a decent start, but it could have been better. As most.
And there's folks on League of Comic Geeks who definitely don't feel the way I do, and we're invested with these characters, and we're able to walk step by step with them. So I don't know. It wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean it's not for everybody. So yeah, y'all check it out.
Right.
Form your own opinion. This is my little sleeper pick of the week. This one was from AWA. J. Michael Straczynski and Mike Choi. Mike Choi was the reason I was drawn to this one. I loved his artwork in this. Now, this is a Resistance book, which I don't have that much history with. It's a universe that kind of J. Michael Straczynski has already established in AWA, where there was some great death or whatever, and you know, people woke up with superpowers, and people either woke up with superpowers or they didn't. And there's these groups of superpowered people in the world now that we got to deal with. And this appears to be like
Rising
almost a
Stars?
28 days later situation. Like homeboy
Definitely
wakes up.
28 Days Later homage.
Homeboy wakes up. He's got superpowers, but he doesn't really know what's going on. You know, I love this scene, like him stepping on the scalpel and it cutting his foot open and then it like re-healing. He's like, I like how, like every time he gets hit with something, that like later on a bullet hits his eyeball and he says the same, it's just like the same text bubble. But yeah, his foot heals right up after the scalpel, and he kind of moves out. And like we learn that he sees the world differently. Now I don't know what they're getting at here. Anybody out there in the chat who's familiar with the AWA Resistance universe, you know, feel free to holler at me. But yeah, so he finds like these two guys who are about to execute this woman, basically because her brother was a flunky who owed money, skipped town, and now they're going to take it out on the person closest to him, which is her. Like I said, he kind of sees these guys in like a different light than they actually appear in reality. But yeah, regardless, he warns them. They don't heed that warning. They shoot at him. He runs towards the bullets. Like I said, one hits him in the eye. His eye immediately like regenerates. So clearly, this guy is nothing to be messed with. After all their clips are done, he's like, "My turn." But then you flip to, I guess, who's going to be the other half of the story. Clearly, this is shaping up to be a love story, even though these two have not met each other yet. So we get the girl's side of things where she's basically an orphan. Her father has died, left a bunch of money to his brother, who is kind of hoarding it all for himself, not letting her have any. She's begging him for money. She doesn't have a place to stay or anything to eat. She's got $10 to her name. Her uncle and her aunt basically throw her out on her ass, tell her, there's nothing they can do for her or whatever. And she kind of basically walks up on this scene where like this guy is I'm sorry. She goes back. She sleeps in like her homeless tenement, right? And in the middle of the night, her door gets smashed in. There's 3 creepos trying to chase her down and do God knows what to her. She's able to escape by hiding behind a dumpster. But after that, she comes up on the scene of our 28 Days Later superhero busting faces. I love this art by Choi here. Just him just like knocking jawbones loose and teeth loose and all. It's just great, man. It's like it's got that Frank Quietly texture to it. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just fantastic, and I love his color palette. Like, it's all flat, but it pops at the same time. Like, I love his art, man. Big fan. Anyway, he kind of saves the day for this girl. He offers her, these guys' wallets and kind of sends her on her way. Then one of these guys' friends rolls up with a fully automatic gun and just puts like a billion holes in this guy, right? He's down for the count. He kind of drags his friends out of there back into the vehicle, leaves this guy kind of dead on the pavement, and then the girl walks up to him at the end of it. So we're going to get some type of love story out of these two. But Link, I know you're not. I know kind of like, did you read this one, bro? I kind of begged you to. If you didn't, it's all good.
I did read it. I read it.
Okay, what did you think? Because like I know, like, all apologies. I know you have a limited knowledge of the AWA universe and the Resistance stuff and stuff. Like, but what did you think just reading it from kind of a cold point of view?
I've always been confused about the AWA because I know like not every book they do is part of it. They have like their cohesive universe, then they have stuff that's not part of it. So I'm never clear what's. I heard I never read too much Resistance. I think I read like the first 2 issues of the first series, first issue of the second series. I know it's similar to Rising Stars, by which Michael Straczynski also does. So I'm familiar with the concept. So I can get on board with this, superpowered individuals appearing out of nowhere, the world reacting to it. This one was an interesting start. I can always appreciate a 28 Days Later homage.
Hell yeah.
I do enjoy Mike Choi. I did enjoy his art. I couldn't put my finger on it. I don't want to say it was bad, but there's something different compared to what he usually does or what I'm used to seeing him do. And you said it was, I think flat is a great word. Like it doesn't, it's detailed, but it doesn't seem to be a. Have you ever seen his art on X-Force or Uncanny X-Men?
I haven't, bro. That's why, yeah, I was hoping you would have it. Like, because I know you're more familiar with this stuff than I am.
No, but it was not. If something was throwing me off, I was like, I know it's Choi, but something looks different. But no, I think it looks a little bit. I like it, but it looks less detailed, more animated. Than what I'm comparing.
I hear you there. Yeah.
Kind of looks cel-shaded, so that's cool.
It almost feels like animated stills in some shots.
Yes. But yeah, I thought the character was cool. It was badass. How he's like essentially. He's like a Superman Wolverine, where he just seems indestructible, and he's got his regenerate. Like when you see the bullet go in his eye, he opens his eye almost immediately, and he's got a brand new eye. Even though it's been destroyed. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this plays out. What's that old couple from like the 30s? They like robbed banks and stuff.
Bonnie and Clyde.
This is gonna be like superhero Bonnie and Clyde.
I think they're probably dead right, bro. It's probably gonna be something like that.
I was gonna say Romeo and Juliet, but I was like, nah, their families aren't feuding, bro. But no, yeah, it's an interesting start. I'm curious to see where this continues because I want to see what his whole deal is, like what his powers essentially are, why he sees the world the way he does. How she plays into this. Obviously, there's going to be some ramifications from their two worlds colliding. But yeah, it was a solid start especially for a universe I'm not too familiar with. It can be easily to get when it's like a new superhero universe. It can be easily to get discouraged from like, I didn't read this. I don't know what's going on. But this read well. Like you don't really need to know about the Resistance comics in order to read this. Like they mention what they need to and how it's incorporated into this, and they keep it moving. But this was a cool, especially for a romance superhero story. This was a cool one. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for reading. I know it was a big like reading list I gave you this week, so thank you for coming through and reading all those, man. I know you're not a Wednesday warrior per se, but I appreciate you coming through. One quick one I wanted to give love to that wasn't on the reading list. The One Hand by Ron B. Lee Loffridge. I know Dan Waters is writing like the companion piece to this. I think it's called The Six-Fingered Man. But this is fantastic. It's a little like detective noir. We've had this cipher killer who's killed and avoided the police for years and years, and we have this. So I know it sounds corny and cliche, but we have this detective on his last day of retirement, right? And he's trying to get out. And he's literally like, they're cutting the cake, and he sees like the courier or whatever running over evidence, and he finds out like this killer has struck again. And basically he's caught this serial killer twice already. He's called the one-handed killer or something like that, but he's caught him twice already because there's been not only the original quote unquote, but the copycat, right? And now he's at the point where another killing has happened, and there's a cipher on the wall, and he's at the point where his whole career feels like it's under siege and under jeopardy because he's caught these two past serial killers, but are they really the guy? And like we got another series of killings that are showing up, and it looks like the same guy type deal. So he feels like under tremendous pressure. He says he's going to take the case regardless of the fact that he's been retired more or less. He's going to take it. But in his detective work, he notices that the hand on the cipher might not be just a normal hand. It might be a six-fingered hand through a random shift of circumstances, and he kind of uses that to his advantage to he's going to try and solve this one. He's basically, it's one of those like, I thought I was going to retire, but I'm all in. and it's going to be the death of me type detective cases. But it's well written, it's well drawn. Dan Waters and Ron B collaborating, going back and forth on this with the one hand and the 6-fingered hand or some shit. I'm all in for. I think those are two of the best writers out there today. So something I'm definitely interested in. I'm going to keep an eye out for. So yeah, Ron B's The One Hand dropped this past week. Y'all check out for it if that's your bag. What was it? Me? It was 6-finger band. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, bro. I thought we would skip flowers and just go to Guess My Government. It's already almost 11 o'clock here tonight. We're back to Marvel. We're off DC. And this one is easier than you think. Don't overthink it, guys. Carl Lucas.
Luke Cage.
God damn it. Link, I need to tell you, be quiet.
Yes.
Man, I meant to say that. I was like, yo, make sure you fucking tell, like, when you put it up, tell Link right away not to say anything. Because he didn't shut it fucking up.
That was a guess, guys.
Yeah, shut up. The spoiler alert. Luke Cage Hero for Hire. The man who chased Dr. Doom down for $200. Ran Dr. Doom down in a live area for $200. Yeah, one of his earliest fables. Yeah, after going a super soldier treatment in jail for a crime he didn't commit, the man formerly known as Carl Lucas was given superhuman strength and unbreakable skin. After the name the name Power Man, Luke Cage. I don't know why they put the accente goo on that Luke Cage right there. Became the hero for hire. Hell yeah. Shout out for Luke Cage. Damn, Link, you guessed that one way too quick, bro. All right, let's get to the PCB schedule this week and we'll get out of here. Last night, the homie Robbie had Escape from New York. What's his name? Snake Plissken? What's his last name?
Snake Plissken.
Plissken. Yeah. The Snake Plissken Classic. Y'all make sure you check that one out. Of course, Robbie's got the new comic review probably coming out. If it's not already out, it'll be out soon enough. Doing the pop culture wrap up at the end of the week as well. And make sure you check out Pop Culture Philosophers this Saturday at the old time and station. Saturday at 1 p.m. with special guest DJ Lynx, Blaine Fable and his amazing friends. Make sure you come through and check us out, man. We had such a great show last week. I can't wait to get into it with Lynx this week. It's going to be amazing. Oh, wait. I enjoyed the first ASM issue back in the day. What happened? What happened in that issue, Herm? I'm curious. Was it like his Doom appearance where it was like super notable? Let me know.
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, Sweet Christmas, right? At Comic Culture on YouTube, our boy Nick, always doing his new comic book day haul. Both of these are going to drop tomorrow, I think at 10 and 5 Eastern, respectively. His new comics this week, and of course, Naked Night. Y'all, if you aren't watching Naked Night on Saturday nights, it's one of the best review shows out there. It's one of my favorites. So y'all check at Comic Culture out on YouTube. Of course, we got my boy Big Herm Sunday at 1 p.m. reviewing. What are we doing? We're doing 43 here. We're doing one issue. What happened with this issue? Because usually Herm and Tom are doing multiple issues. So ASM 43, Herm and Tom doing God's work, breaking down Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know how they do it week to week, but they are doing it. So shout out to Herm and Tom. Y'all check them out over at Big Herm's Collectibles 4428 on YouTube. This Thursday night, 9 p.m., me and my boy Vern breaking down X. This was a wild one. Link, you seen this one, bro?
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed. I know it's not popular opinion, but I enjoyed Pearl a little bit more than X. But X was cool. It was a nice homage to, like, obviously Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. Great cast. I think that was the first thing I saw Jenna Ortega in, to be honest, and that's what
Dude, that
made me
cast
take
killed
notice
it.
of her.
Like Cuddy, what's his name as
Yeah.
Wayne? Like that cast was fantastic.
He reminds me of was Wayne the producer
Yeah.
dude. He kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of the dude from Nip Tuck that played Dr. Doom and
He was, yeah.
Fantastic
He was.
Four.
Yeah. Absolutely. Christian McMahon or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Thursday nights at 9. If it's not me, it's Vernon and Friends Talking Horror. Y'all make sure you check him out on Blood Spider Chatter. I don't have a new graphic for Manny, but y'all make sure you check out Nerdtastic News on YouTube. Manny's always doing something incredible. He's everybody's executive producer. We love you, Manny. We thank you for everything you do for all of us. But seriously, like, dude, week to week, day to day is making some of the best content out there on YouTube. So y'all make sure you check him out and give him a follow at Nerdtastic News on YouTube. Talk, I don't have a new graphic review either, but my homie Taki is always pulling great books, always giving great insight. He just did the Art of Matt Baker not too long ago that got a good response. He's doing that My Weekend Your Wednesday content. Yeah, make sure you check out at Taki616 on YouTube. Shout out to homie, especially that beautiful mail call. Appreciate you, brother. And of course, Geeks Unleashed podcast, talking about comic book adaptations to film or TV. So y'all make sure you check them out. Always doing good things. Mortal Kombat issue just aired. And yeah, I think that's it for the PCB schedule this week. Link, you got anything to say?
A lot of stuff.
Before we get out of it? Yeah, man. Dude, I just want to say, I put that post up last week. PCP had 24 shows out. Literally every day of the week covered. We are a one-stop shop for all you need when it comes to pop culture news and notes, comic book reviews and thoughts, quotes, insights, like action figure reviews. I don't know. There's not a base that we don't have covered. Go check out the PCP Army, man. It's incredible.
Okay.
Sorry, anyway. Sorry.
But no words this week. Whoever tuned in, thank you. See you guys next week. Take care.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all for coming through. As always, we'll be back. We're going to continue our look at the Marvel Knights next week. We wanted to take a pit stop and kind of focus on these great new comics that came out this week. But next week, we're getting back to Jeff Loeb and the great, rest in peace, Tim Sale. We're going to celebrate them in the best way we know how. Through the Hulk Gray run, the Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Captain America White, and some of the other great things, like even some of the DC books that they gave us. So that creative team we're going to celebrate next week. That's going to be the main focus of our show. But to everybody that came out tonight, we appreciate y'all. I will see y'all again Thursday night, 9 o'clock on Verno's show, and of course Friday night, or I'm sorry, Saturday 1 p.m. on a special time for Blaine Fable and his amazing friends with DJ Links. But yeah, as always, a reminder to you guys: our revolution starts with how we treat one another on a daily basis. Make sure you're kind. You take an extra moment to, be patient, be thoughtful. You never know what somebody's going through. Thank you to everybody who came through tonight. All my brothers and sisters, I love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, station y'all.